in Sofia, Bulgaria. I hope you don't mind that we are recording today's meeting. The meeting today is part of the regional knowledge hub for young civil society leaders from Central and Eastern Europe. This is an initiative of the fund operator of the Active Citizens Fund from Bulgaria. Our organization, Workshop for Civic Initiatives Foundation, is member of the consortium of the operator. And we have as partners the fund operator from Slovakia and the fund operator from Lithuania. So our audience is mixed. We have advertised this webinar first of all in the 3 countries, but also in other countries of Central and Eastern Europe by means of the network of the Active Citizens Fund operators. So we will have a diverse audience. We have also 3 very interesting speakers who will speak today about the topic Артивизъм. These are Iana, Matthews, and Greta. And I would like, first of all, to ask the speakers to introduce themselves with a few sentences so that we know who they are and their background. Okay, who would like to start? Greta, maybe?
First of all, hello everyone. Can you hear me? Yeah? Okay, so thank you for inviting me here to speak, and thank you for the Open Lithuanian Foundation, and thank you for all of you for the invitation and the short introduction of myself. That I'm Greta Stormer. I'm an artist from Lithuania, and I'm a theater director and interdisciplinary artist, and I also teach creative writing. So these are my main occupations, what I do, and this involves making art and artivism together. So it involves education and also making theater. And also what I do in theater, I divide it into 2 parts. So I do drama theater work as a director and also contemporary opera work. So this is the things I do. It's quite a big branch, but it's actually manageable. So glad to see you all, and I hope we will have a nice conversation about Артивизъм today.
Thank you, Greta. Iana, would you go next?
Thank you, Monica, and hi everyone. Absolutely lovely to be here. I'm Jana. I'm the co-founder and executive director of Fine Acts. We are a global non-profit creative studio for social impact. My background is in investigative journalism. I spent quite a few years trying to, change the world in at least initially in Bulgaria and then Central and Eastern Europe on human rights topics with my writing. Got incredibly frustrated because of lack of real impact, which led me to activism. And during my even in first years in creative campaigning and activism, I realized the immense power that collaborations with artists have in any kind of communications campaigning around human rights. And this, to cut a very long story short, this led me to creating this global nonprofit organization that is basically, on the one hand, producing a lot of various socially engaged artworks in all sorts of mediums, to also supporting various organizations and groups and movements with, on the one hand, trainings, but also many, many free-to-use resources, because most of what we do is open licensed and free to use by others. So I'll stop here.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jana. And Matthews, you will be the last speaker today.
Okay. Hello, can you hear me or? Yes?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm Matthews Astrab. I'm from Slovakia, and I'm audiovisual or new media artist. And I prefer the interactive installation in my artwork or photography or animation. and in my artwork I prefer the ecological topics or historical topics, and the work with the insects. I prefer the scientific works, and I don't know, and it's all for now.
Okay. Thank you. I'm sure that the audience is already intrigued by the first words of the speakers. And since we have young civil society leaders here, I'm sure the first question that they would like to know is what is exactly Артивизъм? Is it a new method? Is it something that existed forever but is recently packaged in a new way? Why is it useful? I was personally intrigued by Jana's words that she was exhausted and frustrated by the lack of impact, but now she's doing something new, which obviously makes more meaning and satisfaction for her as an activist. So all of you, all of the three speakers, please address this question as well in your presentations about the impact of Артивизъм as a method. And, you know, I have informed you beforehand that each speaker will have 15 minutes to speak. During the presentations, the audience will be able to, the people who are participants will be able to ask questions in the chat. We prefer this method. And then after the end of the presentation, we can address the questions to each speaker. And at the end, after 3 presentations, we'll have a general discussion. So let's start with that. If you have prepared any visual materials, PowerPoint or whatever, you're also able to share the screen. So let's start. Greta, would you like again to be the first presenter, like in the order of self-presentation?
I can be the icebreaker, yes.
Okay.
So yeah, so back to introducing myself. It's very nice to know the colleagues that are presenting with me. Very nice to meet you. And it's very interesting what you do. And now talking about myself. So as I have mentioned, I have a background of music and theater directing. I finished classical piano training and got into theater directing later. And then I got to study masters in sculpture. So my training is very interdisciplinary. And this is like the introduction for what I will make, what is the path to this Артивизъм word for me. So yes, so basically what I do is interdisciplinary art and theater combined with a leading aspect of music or words. And this thing, what I do is the art side of what I do, is the artist side, but also I do much of education. And what I do in terms of education is creative writing education. So basically, if I am invited to do the creative writing workshops, it's usually for queer teenagers and queer youth. So this is my specialization, what I do in my work, as well as in my artist work, I address the queer topics and social normativity topics personally. So when I teach in the creative writing workshops, it's more direct. It's different than what I do as an artist, but I think this doesn't actually collide or clash. So when I do creative writing workshops, I still include a sense of art in them and a sense of creating an atmosphere of creativity, which I think is one of the most important things in the creative writing workshop, especially when it's concerned about social justice, is to activate creativity in the thinking of the mind, and when the creativity is activated, then comes bravery. So bravery and creativity for me is kind of similar things. And in the works that I do in theater, as I have worked in state theaters, as I have worked in NGOs, some theaters are very big, some theaters are very small, but very impactful. I usually do art as a symbolic language more. So for example, me and the team, we did a play called Lear's, which is an interpretation of William Shakespeare's King Lear. And basically it's the interpretation of researching why is King Lear so horrible when he is old in the Shakespeare's play, why he's so angry. And we are questioning the morals of a man and the question of toxic masculinity through it. So basically in the theater work, I usually do more of a symbolistic work, but I always address the language of social justice and queerness. So these are the two paths that I'm in right now. And another one is associated with summer, and summer is associated with holidays. And in holidays, there is a festival called Sapfo in Lithuania, which is a queer festival. It lasts for 10 years already. And I am one of the participants in this festival, an active participant who is also responsible for the spoken word part. So in this case, I organize readings and creative writing workshops also for the queer community. And all of this work is non-profitable. So these are the three things that I do. And these are the three branches that I do. The summer part I like the most, is the most relaxed, even though when we organize the festival, it's a lot to do, especially when it's non-profit. But I feel that it's very important to speak for queer community and especially for queer youth, because the teenagers are the ones that are coming after us, coming to be the leaders after us. So, and somehow I really find the common sense with them. Maybe it's my thing, but somehow it's I feel that it is my thing. Yes, so talking about more of creative writing workshops, I would say that it can be very wide. When I first started getting into it, I thought, okay, so we will take a sheet and we will write something, But now sometimes I combine it with AI. Sometimes I do it with a non-verbal language. It depends on the context and on the people that I'm working with and on the team that I choose, because also I think it's very important in talking such socially responsible and sensitive topics, it's very important to have the team that is prepared to do so, and not talk for the people that you're not, that is not your group. And this is for me very important. As a queer person myself, I stand for that. And I stand for social justice and equality. And I feel that this topic is one of the most important ones in my artivism. The question of meaning of artivism and what it means to me is, I can answer that quite widely, actually, because when I was 18 years old and I started studying theater directing, I thought that art must be beautiful. And I didn't think that art can be social. I thought that art is a beautiful painting, but now my perception completely changed, and I realized that in these times, art is beautiful in like 6 or 7 sense, but first it needs to be impactful and it needs to speak for the people. So for me, that is artivism. It can be in many ways. It can be educational, it can be experimental, it can be visual, sound, theater. I think the form is a matter what is close to our heart, but the main thing of artivism is speaking of equality, speaking of social justice and sensitivity through the form of creativity. So that is my take. And I don't know if you have any questions, please do ask. Maybe I missed something, but yeah.
Right now, I don't see any written questions, but I will remember this sentence, art can be social. So that's something that is like at the core of artivism. And let's continue with Jana's presentation. And in the meantime, if any questions appear, Greta, you could answer them at the end during the general discussion. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will share my screen. Just a second. Can you see my screen? Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, so as I mentioned, I lead FineActs, which is a global nonprofit creative studio for social impact. I speak here from the position of an activist, not as an artist. I'm not an artist, but I work and extensively collaborate with artists. So what is specific to our work? We work around the world, we work across disciplines and like using various art mediums. Only last year, we collaborated with a total of 300 artists from 85 countries. We are issue agnostic, meaning that we have worked on issues from racial justice to women's rights to LGBTI rights to climate change, climate justice, and many, many more. We really, really value experimentation and creative play. I will speak briefly about that in a second. And we are very science-based, and I'm actually going to address this now. So in our work, something that we really value is the so-called the science of what makes people care. And these are insights from cognitive science, behavioral science, neuroscience, as to what makes people engage emotionally with an issue and what compels them to act. And these are some of the, I would say, more obvious insights from these various scientific studies, namely that opinions change not through more and more information, but through compelling empathy, inducing experiences, that visual language works much, much better than dry facts and abstract concepts. And here we come to art-ivism, that art can trigger empathy, and that art and storytelling are actually some of the greatest tools that we have as campaigners to actually provoke an emotional response. We in the human rights movement, we very often talk about emotions and the importance of like triggering different emotions in our audience. And here is what to me is the most interesting part of these insights, namely that provoking an emotional response should be done really carefully, because people will shut down or not respond if one simply evokes sadness, guilt, or fear. And think about human rights communication in general. I would say that it's too often rooted in these negative feelings. And in the context of the general desensitization to social issues, the campaigns that are rooted in awe and hope are the ones that are most effective. So in our work, we're guided by this. So everything that we do is hope-based or at least leaves space for hope. Talking about scientific insights, I don't know if you can see my wonderful carpet behind me, which also says play. We really value and we really love creative play, and this is not just because it's fun, but also it is very science-based. So neuroscience tells us that nothing lights up the brain like play, and that the opposite of play is not work, it's depression. But what science also tells us is that whenever we play, especially when we play across disciplines, this is what sparks better ideas. When we play, others want to join, and this is so important for, you know, the human rights movement to bring in more people, specifically people that that are from like different spheres. And also play gives us the much needed feeling that we got this. And lastly, and I would say very importantly, play can be an antidote to the very high levels of depression and burnout amongst activists. So this is why, on top of ارتivizم, we also practice something that we call playtivism, which is creating spaces for multidisciplinary play and experimentation in activism. We don't only conceptualize works around playtivism, we also actually implement those. So we create our own playgrounds, where in this case of labs, we bring in together artists and technologists. We pair them into person teams. We brief them with the help of experts on, like, we have had labs on many different issues, but we bring in experts in the respective issue. They brief the participants, and then these two teams of an artist and technologist need to come up with an idea only for the duration of 48 hours that lies somewhere in the intersection of art and tech, and either raises awareness about the issue or solves it, or contributes to solving it. So just a few examples of ideas that have been produced after these labs, because at the end, each of these teams pitches in front of a jury and an audience, and one idea is selected to be produced. So this is BEAT. It's our work focusing on domestic violence. The concept has been, the nugget of the concept has been created by a team of a drummer, a musician, and a programmer. This is actually the first winner of our lab series. And very briefly, and I will share the slides of the presentation so you can actually go and really, if you're interested, see these projects in more detail. But here, what we did, this specific video, part of a much larger campaign with more components. There was a case of a woman who was murdered in Sofia several years ago, and she has been murdered for over 50 minutes by her partner, and the neighbors heard her screams, but they didn't intervene. This is what the neighbors told the press the next day. And what we did was one year after the murder took place, we brought a set of drum sets in the apartment underneath the one where this happened. We were able to rent it because we wanted to test the reaction time of this same group of neighbors to a different kind of domestic noise. Because in Bulgaria, domestic violence is largely seen as a private matter, but any other kind of noise, be it from partying, from loud music, from anything that is not a domestic dispute, is immediately confronted. The neighbors would either call the police or ring the bell and make a problem. The long story, like, I'm not going to play the video because there is not enough time, but the long story short, we went there at 10 p.m. This is when actually Maxim, the artist in this group, started beating the drums. It is a single shot video. We had only one chance to actually have this as a pure social experiment. To give away the ending, it took this same group of neighbors who did not react to someone being murdered for 50 minutes. 1 minute and 52 seconds to come and ring the bell when they heard the beating of the drum. And this campaign became instantly viral, and it really provoked a lot of discussion, a lot of debate, and so many women survivors of domestic violence joined in and shared similar experience online. We worked with a group of survivors on building a campaign website where there is a lot of advice both to neighbors, what they can do, but also to women who are going through similar experiences at the time. But I wanted to very briefly share something else, and I think this is interesting. At least to me, it's very interesting. So as I said, this is the viral component of this campaign, but we also did something else, which was we brought this same drum set before the releasing of the video. We brought the same drum set in a Sofia gallery, and it was exhibited there for a week. And basically, we told the people coming to the gallery only one thing. When you put the headphones, because it was like installation, when you put the headphones and when you start beating the drum, you're going to hear the voices of women survivors of domestic violence. And actually, what we didn't tell them is that they're going to hear the screams of such women. These people, because we recorded them and that we triggered the drum set with these different sounds. And the people who had this experience, they had such a profound emotional response that these were the people who became the actual ambassadors of this project. These were the people that after the video launched, they were the ones that initially started the wave of, like sharing it, promoting it, talking about it, and so on and so forth. And only 300 people saw this this installation in the gallery, and hundreds of thousands, and by now the Bulgarian and English version of this video, I would say, I think over 2 million people saw it in the different platforms where it is at. But while one goes to scope the video, the other goes to intensity. And I think it's so important whenever we're talking about creative campaigning to keep both in mind, because both scope and intensity are incredibly, incredibly important. I'm going to very briefly share some of the other winners from our labs format. This is Fakery. Again, this is a very fun campaign and video where just the background is that it's on fake news. This is what the labs was focusing on, and disinformation. And here we created fake news that the famous chef Jamie Oliver is coming to Bulgaria to test a new line of cupcakes. We sent this press release to the Bulgarian media. They published it, no problem. They didn't even call the phone number that we gave for more information. And basically, based on these publications in various media outlets, we were able to invite people to come to the so-called testing, like cupcake testing in a fake pop-up bakery that we created. And the thing is that people were testing in front of camera. Beautiful. We worked with an amazing chef to create these cupcakes, beautifully looking but horribly tasting cupcakes. And it's a very humorous video, an entire campaign that basically the tagline is that fake news leave a bad taste. And again, there are a lot of resources and a lot of ways that like even a guide how to lead difficult conversations with, let's say, parents or friends who consume fake news, and even the recipe of how to cook, these kind of horrible cupcakes as a conversation starter. It's on the website. And lastly, from this lab series, I'm going to share something that it's right now already in testing. It's our board game Dictators that puts players in the shoes of a dictator, so they get to really experience the tools and tactics of oppression. This is a board game that we are currently developing with a large group of advisors who are activists who are either living in oppressive regimes right now or have lived and are currently living somewhere else. But this is like a very, very, on the one hand, humorous, but on the other hand, serious game that would serve hopefully as some invaluable tool to activists worldwide. And this is something that we'll be launching next year. Monica, I don't know how I'm on time. I'm just maybe very briefly going to mention that we also have different other, creative approaches and formats like sprints where we bring visual artists together, again, for a weekend, but here they have 48 hours to produce their work on a specific issue. We have had sprints like supporting various movements, but the best thing about sprints is not only that you have outputs that are the artworks that are created, but that these works are then published on our platform, the Grades, which is the biggest platform for open licensed, socially engaged visuals that are free to anyone to use and adapt non-commercially. And basically, once you download a file, you don't only download the poster size, but you also have various social media sizes. But also the best part is that you get the work file. That means that you can adapt the illustration, change the copy, translate the copy, change different aspects of it. This is just an example of what can be done. I'll stop because it's yeah, it has been a lot of time, but if you have any questions, happy to answer them.
Thank you, Jana. I had one question. Do you work for all these creative projects? Do you work in collaboration with other organizations, or how you manage to implement all those? They're quite diverse, as we heard. So how is it implemented in practice?
Thank you, Monica. It really varies. It depends. It depends. This is just a tiny fraction of what we do. Sometimes we work in collaborations with partner organizations. So let's say in the context of Bulgaria, let's say we help the Bulgarian Center for Not-for-Profit Law with the creative aspects of many of their campaigns. Lately, we worked on, let's say, AI and digital rights. We've worked with them on guardianship for people with disabilities. So in this case, we work as a creative partner in their campaigns, communicating their issues. Other times, we come up with a campaign. We just apply with the concept, and then we seek artists and creative collaborators to make it happen. So it's entirely, stemming from us. And in other cases, we are commissioned by organizations like TED, for example. So for TED, we have been, I had some slides, but I spoke too long. But let's say for TED, we are responsible for the communication of all their climate work since 2020. So let's say in 2020, we produced 10 art pieces on the topic of climate change in 10 cities around the world. So as I said, like it really depends on the circumstance.
Okay, great. So it means that an organization from the region can contact Fine Acts and can request support for a campaign, for an initiative. This is important for our participants.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Please hit our
Great.
email. I'll share my email in the chat.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Okay, let's move to Matthews to his presentation, and then we'll have the general discussion.
Okay, can you hear me, everyone? Or yes, okay. The first the previous two presentation we are very interested, and I will talk about my work, which is more connected with the артивизъм, and I prepared the presentation and some text and pictures and videos about my artwork, which is connected with артивизъм. And the first, sorry for my English is not very good, but I try to speak or read or speak and read. Okay. I try to share my my desktop. I think this one. It's okay, or you see?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, it's okay. Yes.
Okay. Okay. First, I have a text, and I try to read. Okay, and again, hello everyone. My name is Matúš Astrap, and I am from Slovakia. I graduated from the Academy of Arts in Banská Bystrica, specializing in the audiovisual media and later in the free fine art. And the focus of my art's work lies primarily in the multimedia interactive installation, analog and the digital photography, and the animations. And additionally, I work with the wood, creating the illustrations, graphics, and the videos. In these works, I often address ecological topics and the solutions. The core of my ecological activism in the art primarily takes from the mentioned installation and the artistic projects. Therefore, I would like to concentrate now and tell you something about them. Okay, maybe first, on a side note, I would like to mention the animations for the ecological musical waste is a treasure. Is a series of the animations created for the online version of the musical waste is a treasure. The title itself indicates that is theme revolves around waste sorting, handling, recycling, and reuse. While the musical itself is not my project, the artistic realization of animation is. I wanted to mention it at the beginning because, in my opinion, is also from that can convey ecological messages in the interesting way. It's the crucial to decide the characters and the overall plot in a way that engages you viewers for whom the musical is primarily created, and educated them on waste management. The entire online musical circulate in the Slovak school through the various competitions, and the animation had impact on my on many young people. Okay, maybe for more details, you can visit my website matuzastrab.com. This applies of the following projects as well, concerning the creation of a multimedia installation. I empathize that beside the work themselves, they should be part of the event to reach as many people as possible. Therefore, I often work with the interactive elements to the audience intervene directly in the action. Okay, and next, an example of such an interactive installation is like this: water and artificial intelligence in the conversation. I conceived and created the installation primarily for the European Researchers Night, which focused on water and the artificial intelligence. As representative of the artistic community using scientific and research procedures in my work, I had the opportunity to address participants ranging from young students to the adults through art. The installation simulated the conversation between water and artificial intelligence. For both represent 4 different types of the water in the world: water in the organism, water in the atmosphere, fresh water in the lakes and rivers, and the saltwater in the seas and the oceans. Each type of the water contains in the database of ecological and scientific focused facts. Upon human touch, especially created programs and of the this piece of the knowledge to the chat window with the artificial intelligence. The AI respond to the ecological messages, creating interesting and original conversation that engages the viewers in the narrative and educate them about the global water issues. With the ecological theme, the installation touch on the topics such as ocean pollution, glacier melting, acid rain, and another crucial messages. And okay. Next, I would like to mention another work that is not yet complete and has been presentation only once at the chamber exhibition. The work is the artifact. This installation focused on the decline of the insect worldwide. Invertebrates, especially beneficial insects, are significantly decreasing today, and according to the relevant studies, in the highly probably that in approximately the 100 years there will be almost no insect left, which are immensely important. There are multiple reasons for the decline, but all primary attributes to human activities. For example, urbanization, lighting, pesticides, roads, and climatic changes. I created an artifact that simulates the negative prognosis today, creating a sense of a world without insects. It depicts the sustainable ecosystem with the insect's life in a closed world, designed to last at least decades without human interventions. They preserve the insects as a museum artifact, as valuably as rare items from past years, since in museum today. I designed the formal aspect of the work to resemble a rare museum artifact, including details such as boundary stakes, description labels set 100 years into the future, and a laser security system. All of this contributes to creating an atmosphere of a world without the insect today, attempting to influence human perception of this alarming prognosis. The most prominent topic I address in my art, however, is deforestation. Here I would like to mention two works, or rather two key projects to conclude my presentation. The first is the harvest. Is a multimedia installation. This is the harvest. Yeah, it's a multimedia installation aiming to show people a realistic image of the deforestation. I utilized an online counter from the wordcounts.com, based on the relevant sources from various organizations, research institutions, or news services. The counters display the real-time interval of a hectare of the forest cut down or burned worldwide in the current year, and dominate this installation on a separate display. For the installation, I created a 3D visualization of the forest that essentially functions as a computer game influenced by the mentioned counter. Every 100 hectares of deforested forest, 100 hectares of the destroyed forest worldwide are displayed in the. No, sorry, I make a fail. Sorry. No, it's okay. Okay, this is not important, but this the beautiful forest make to the to the damaged country. This visualization is in the fast preview, and for the variability of the work, I also created the mechanism with the real axe chopping. No, this is not this again. This the real axe chopping. Further, the empathizing the. Sorry, I'm lost here. No. Is with real. I create the mechanism with real axe chopping. Filter the empathizing the atmosphere of the forest destruction, just like the free the game. The axe is trigger after every 100 hectares of the deforested land. This element helps present the work and the topic to wide audience in the various forms. I first present to the installation as a part of the residency at the Peripheral Center in Dubravica. Is an art center in the Slovakia. I continue to showcase it to a board at audience as the Svetlo Valmes is a light art festival in Valašské Medziříčí in the Czech Republic. And this is from this festival, this video. And the last artwork I think is the my recent project is the reforestation of the past. It's currently the most complex project that I have extended beyond the borders of my home and the comfort zone. And in essence, I brought the videos of Slovak forest to Iceland, and I projected them onto the Icelandic hills. I did this because Iceland lost all its forest, which constitute 40% of the country's total area. In the past, during the settlement of Iceland, all the forests were destroyed. While Iceland is currently attempting reforestation, it's changing due to the significant changes in the landscape. And landscape making reforestation nearly impossible or very complicated. This is pictures from this project about reforestation. It's a Slovak forest into the Icelandic hills, mountains, and this is all areas where I make the project. All visualization. The goal here was to shift the issues of deforestation into the public space and promote it abroad, especially through the residency program and collaborating with the Icelandic Art Organization, SIM, Association of the Icelandic Artists, and I had the opportunity to present the project and this ecological topic at an art center in Reykjavik, showcasing into artists from various countries worldwide. The primary output of the entire project will be a film based on this artistic act, providing more detailed exploration of deforestation in connection with the Icelandic example. Okay, and once again, for those interested in details, you can find more information on pictures on my website. And thank you for your attention. And it's all.
Thank you. Thank you a lot, Matthews. I saw only comments in the chat, most of them congratulating all the speakers about the interesting ideas, the high impact of their work. So if any of the participants have questions, they can raise their hand, because right now the sound is disabled for the participants. So if there is someone who would like to ask a question, you can also raise hand, and you will be able to speak. Okay. Matthews, same question as to Jana. Do you collaborate with the civil society activists and organizations? And can they call you, contact you for some joint initiatives? The same question also to Greta. I mean, only Jana gave her contact, but if the other two speakers are interested to get in touch with some of the people in the audience, I mean, with their organizations, and if they are available for some joint creative projects, please also leave your emails in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think it's quite impressive. Okay, so there is one question. How could we spread the ideas of ativism in a regional, urban way? Okay. Anyone from the speakers maybe could take this question?
Mm-hmm.
I can say something. Something very easy to me is I just dropped in the chat this open license platform that I mentioned. So something super easy could be like if you want to do like a pop-up exhibition, like locally, wherever, like be it in a small town setting, even like in a like rural area, you can at almost no cost do so, because you can like curate your own collection from all these like thousands of great illustrations that we have on this website. And then you can have this as a backdrop, so you could have a pop-up exhibition, and then you can have like a discussion around this. So this is just, again, like it's at almost no cost, but also any kind of real involvement with local artists, from creation of works in such settings to hosting talks and panels and discussions. And actually bringing people like face to face, not only with the art, but also with the artist. I think it's a great way. And lastly, once again, I really see the value of of bringing people from various disciplines together. So artists, technologists, scientists, so on and so forth. I think that beauty can be born there. So beauty and meaning, to Greta's point from the very beginning. Yeah, I'll stop here.
Okay, thanks, Jana. Okay, I don't see any new questions, and we would be glad to finish on time. We have 1 hour for the webinar. So let me finish by thanking wholeheartedly to all the speakers. I think the audience is just so inspired that people are not able to formulate any question. It's just an awe moment for all of us. And I'm sure that some of the participants or their organizations may seek ways in the future to incorporate артивизъм in the work of the non-profit organizations, especially when they want to change, to work on a particular issue that's more difficult to change only by means of spreading information. This is important to remember, that only information doesn't change people's attitudes. We need an all moment, we need an emotional engagement in order to change perceptions and attitudes and behavior. So артивизъм greatly contributes to this. It's a wonderful way of influencing. So thank you to all the speakers. Thank you for sharing your contacts. And this webinar, I think, will be accessible also as a in its recorded version to other interested people who will check the website. So this will be a way to spread the word forward. Thank you again, and have a nice time. I wish a lot of success to all the speakers in their great work. Okay. So
Thank you.
bye.
Thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
too.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye. Nice to
Bye,
meet you.
everyone.
Bye.